guys, Mitch42 here, welcome back to some more Katawa Shoujo. Last time we left off, we were with Lilly, we were in town shopping, we had to help her out, and then Rin randomly showed up out of nowhere, not knowing what she was doing, and she decided to join us in our shopping stuff, I guess. It's a bit weird. Now, I know you guys have been asking for the series. I know it's kind of been on a pause for the last week or two. It's kind of been like on and off with this series. Mainly because I've been doing a lot of stuff with the squad and other things and work, school, so it's been a little hectic to try and record this series, but don't worry, I'm going to be bringing it back into full swing again, so don't worry, it is here. It is here to stay. Like I said, we're completing this series. We ain't stopping anytime soon. So, let's continue. Now, here's why I'm on the Texas 3 is because I accidentally hit the button. Skipping into Rin's dialogue, so we're going to read the first part, and then we'll get right back into the game. So, arriving at the dorms, Rin stops in front of her mural, as if lightning struck her. She has been so quiet for almost all of the walk back, that I had all but forgotten she was there. And now we go back in. It's Friday, isn't it? Yes, Friday, the 8th of June. This is bad. Bad? Why? I think I'm going to get in a fetal position and throw up, possibly in reverse order. Is something wrong? No, nothing is wrong. It's Friday and nothing's wrong yet. This mural, it's going to need to be finished by Sunday, so everything's alright. Do you have any drugs or a time machine? This is not good. Not good. So she's behind her schedule, recalling Shizune's exasperation at Rin's carefree attitude several days ago. I don't know what to think. She has left herself open for a told you so unless she can pull off whatever she needs to pull off by Sunday morning. Rin keeps staring at her mural, looking as mortified as she can. Leave me, I'm going to need to work for a while. I glance at Lily, expecting her to share an incredulous look with me as I roll my eyes, but then I realize she's not one to do that kind of thing. Leave me. Alright, we do, of course, not wanting to aggravate her any more than she already is. There's a churning bad feeling in my guts. Rin sure has a knack of making people feel worried about her. She seems like a person who should never be left alone. Maybe we should call someone. She sounded like she was going into shock or something. I'm sure she'll be just fine. She's just, how to say. Lily cocks her head a little, trying to find a polite way of calling Rin crazy without calling her crazy. Unique? Yes, a very unique person. I guess you could say that. She giggles at the notion melodiously. That's a word. Nodding in agreement. Sorry about leaving you stranded as you talk to her. I don't really understand her, so I keep my distance. So my guess was right. Lily offers a slight apologetic smile as if she was sorry that her own shortcomings had prevented her from coming close to Rin. Not one to blame her, at all. Lily lets slip a long breath, probably a disguised yawn. I imagine she's as exhausted by all this as I am. I'd better leave now and give these to Hanako. Thank you for the company, Hisao. She smiles very sweetly at me. It feels different than normal, despite the fact that she seems to be smiling so often. I can't put my finger on what the difference is. It's just different. Relaxed, I'd say. But that's probably just relief over getting rid of Rin. Maybe. Yeah, good night. Say hi to Hanako for me. I will. Good night. And it's at the end of the day. That it is, ladies and gentlemen. Right, so it's Saturday now? So it's the weekend. That means we shouldn't have school, I believe, if this game is correct. Like I said, oh no, we do. We still have school. Cool. God damn, do I love having school on a Saturday. The students roll into class for the Saturday morning session, each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people who have worked through the night. With only a day left to prepare, I suppose it's not so surprising. Thankfully, we only have to surface through classes until the lunch break, and then our timers are on. Oh, okay, so then, okay. Matao lurches into class in a tired stagger. I suppose students aren't the only people here that enjoy late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he scrawls some page and question numbers on the board and stumps down at his desk. It's completely a typical behavior for him, but it appears that no one in the class is going to call him out for it. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to work. Not wanting to break the trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffles of paper. That can partially be attributed to the two empty seats beside me. For some reason, Misha and Suzune aren't present, probably doing council work for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or if she is making up for Shizune's lack of voice. Nakai, can I speak to you for a moment? Uh-oh, what do we do? I'm so engrossed in thinking about Misha that I don't even notice Matao approaching my desk. Sure, what's this about? It's probably better if we speak outside the classroom. Okay. Something about this doesn't sound too good, but I stand up and follow him out into the hallway. Matao stands in the hallway, scratching his head as he works out what he's trying to say, not knowing what is going on. I wait silently. So tell me, how are things? Things? I expect Matao to be a little vague, but this is pushing me the limits. You know, things. You've had a week to settle in now, so how are things? Fine, I guess. I see. And how is your condition? The pause before condition seems a little unnecessary. Haven't had any problems so far. A brief shimmer of relief passes across Matao's face. Good, that's good. The school nurse was a little concerned that you might have been pushing yourself a bit too hard. He asked me to keep an eye on you when he couldn't. That makes sense. I'd ask that you don't blow us off so eat freely. As much as we try to give you the level of education that you would get at a normal school, you have to realize that you have limits. Our goal is to make sure that you know where those limits are, and how to maximize your potential within them. Do you follow me? I guess. I mean, I don't plan on doing anything stupid. Well, that's a start, I guess. So then, on to my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid up for a while. We're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I tried to keep up when I was in the hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. Matao taps his chin and raises an eyebrow as he absorbs the information. Is that so? I suppose there are still students out there who realize the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied in my little life support prison. Oh, well, yeah, you've got to keep up those things, right? That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world and you're left behind, right? Right. Wouldn't want that to happen. No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them mean nothing to the layperson, but any one of them could be the key to the next big thing. I'll keep that in mind. It's obvious that Matao's serious talk is over and he's gone back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think, in hindsight, that I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Well then, I think that's all I really had to say. Let's go back inside, shall we? As my, thing goes off in the background, I don't know if you heard that. There was the, air freshener. My relief at that suggestion is insurmountable. Sure, you're the boss, right? Matao pauses for a moment. I don't think any of my students have ever said that to me before. For an instant, I consider replying to this, but something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back into the classroom. A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they are working on the questions on the board. Some don't even bother, their heads slumped on the desk as they nap. Thankfully, it would appear that Matao does not even notice them. He returns to his desk and retrieves a scientific journal from one of the drawers. I guess I got to him there. Words. The class returns at a near silence that Matao and I left it in before our chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is either waiting for a chance to rest or the chance to get their last-minute preparations underway. The clock on the wall slowly ticks the remaining class time away until finally bells cry out, ending the torment. Ending the torment. Before you all leave, I expect the answers for those problems by Monday. The class sighs as one, instantly regretting slacking off, but still acutely aware of the more pressing issues at hand. The classroom empties in a blink as everyone rushes to their last-minute festival preparations. I stay behind and try to quickly finish the question so I don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend, with the festival and all tomorrow. Oh, it's Hanako. Apart from me, Hanako is the only one left, obviously waiting for Lilly. It's weird that Lilly comes all the way to our class to pick her up. I expect that moving around is at least nominally harder for her than it is for Hanako. But it's none of my business, and I naturally don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else either, so an oppressive silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn pages of my notebook. Hanako turns pages of the novel she's reading. My pencil lead splinters against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. The sound of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for a sharpener feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako? Like a daughter to her mother. Her name is all it takes to make Hanako jump up from her desk and run to Lily. And they gone. They talk quietly for a moment, but it isn't long before Lilly leaves down the hall and Nanako idles back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hanako out of the corner of my eye out of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple of minutes, she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently becomes too much for her, though, her slender frame reaching into her bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, that isn't the one I saw her reading at the library. She must be quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. But why would Lilly leave her to her own devices? It seems to be quite out of the ordinary, going by Hanako's reaction. That's right. I think Lilly mentioned something about going into town today before Rin bumped into us. The thought of that walk makes me look outside. The bright sun and occasional people wandering around and enjoying the afternoon makes me yearn to get out of school, or at least do something other than sit here. Giving in to one of my worst vices, procrastination, I decide that the history is a subject best suited on a Sunday, or a Monday, or on any day other than this one. I give a grunt as I lever myself out of my seat, briefly debating with myself whether or not to hang out with Kenji. He doesn't strike me as the enjoying the nice weather outside with others kind of person, really. I guess I'll catch up with him later. Changing tacks, I briefly entertain the idea of talking with Hanako, but by the time I look at her seat, it's vacant. She must have left at the library. There's got to be something to do that can kill the time. So we can either go to the library, or we can go for a walk into the town. Very interesting indeed. Now, it is a lovely day outside, but do I want to go into a library and sit down and read for a while? That is the real question here, ladies and gentlemen. Do I, Hisao, in this moment of the time, want to go sit in a library and read for a little while? You know, kind of chill, you know? Have my own little thing to do.
Nah, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good. I kind of want to go walk into the town because I'm Kermit the Frog.
Following Alex at the library seems a bit intrusive. There was a reason she left the classroom after all. And that aside, I do want to catch up with Lilly. At the very least, I'd like to thank her for looking out for me despite her other obviously taxing duties. I guess I'll walk around town. With any luck, I should be able to find Lilly. The exercise will do me some good as well. Oh, music changed very quickly, actually. Kind of confused me. Walking through the school courtyard to the gate, I give a small small nod to a couple of passing classmates, suggest they're being returned in kind. Even from here, the shouts of the sports club members can be heard. From the sheer volume of din, the track must be packed right now. Remember what Lilly said yesterday about being dropped right into the middle of a busy time for the school. While I'm trying to get my bearings and catch up on my studies that I've missed, everyone else is doing normal school activities. The feeling of being a foreigner still hasn't dissipated, at least not yet. Well, I guess not everything's bad. This is a private school, and that much is easily noticed when walking around outside. Not only are the school grounds huge, but the buildings themselves are accumulated and quite divorced from the dime a dozen concrete blocks of public schools. There's also the fact that there is a much stronger feeling of community here, or at least a friendlier atmosphere. At my old school, it was generally accepted that people would keep to their little clique and be done with it. You ain't wrong. Eventually I reach the gate and begin to walk down the road and into town. With the cliques, you ain't wrong. Well, that was fairly productive. Having seen a fair portion of town, even including the houses perched on the hills around the outskirts, I decided to take a walk around the park before heading back. Living in the city all my life, the total lack of smartly dressed businessmen and fashionably dressed girls strikes me as incredibly unusual. All that's to be seen are the odd elderly person shuffling along the sidewalk, and assorted busily chatting pairs of middle-aged women outside of small storefronts. Walking along the road to the park quite quickly distracts me from them, though, making me realize that I perhaps pushed myself further than I should have done to see as much as I could. As my breath begins to wheeze and my chest tightens more and more, I give up on the prospect of soldiering on. There's a quick glance around the park as I enter. I take a seat on the wobbly odd bench that I notice near a couple of vending machines. For minutes on end, I sit with my head bent over, forcing myself to take deep breaths. I feel like an old man than a teenager who should be in the prime of his life. The stay in the hospital, the surgery, and the medications must be taking their toll on me. Damn it. Eventually, my breathing returns to normal and the muscles in my chest loosen, not without a fair measure of relief. I guess this means the end of my little sojourn, though, in any case. I have no clue what that word means. There's a cafe on the far corner, so I'll stop by to quench my thirst before heading back. A little bell above the door signals my arrival to an empty counter. For a few moments I stand there waiting, my eyes every now and again drifting from one end of the counter to the other, searching for a service bell. Hey, I think we know this person. Eventually, a door some ways behind the counter opens, the person emerging from it taking me by complete surprise. Yuko? Hi, I had no idea you worked here. I really have no idea how to address her either, given that she is technically school staff as well as apparently a waitress. Ah, yes, she quickly paces up to the counter, before flinging her upper half downwards in an overreacted bow. Welcome to the Shanghai, may I take your order? Straight down to business, I see. I don't know, well, some coffee, please. Yes, certainly. I'll make it right away and bring it to you when it's done. Thanks. Yuka's formality takes me back. She seems to take her job very seriously. Obeying her instructions, I turn around and quickly glance around for a free table. Considering the cafe seems to be empty, this is a simple task to accomplish. As I walk towards a table adjacent to the window, I notice a flash of yellow around one of the table dividers. Hey! Sure enough, no more than a glance is needed to ascertain that it's a certain Hisao at the table. What does that mean? That said, I don't recognize the suited figure across the table from her. Blonde, fair-skinned, and only a little shorter. She? I think she must be a relative. Since the two are all but silent as the suited figure takes a swig from a cup of coffee, I decide to greet Lilly. Some part of my coming here was in order to meet her after all. Hi, Lilly. Hisao? Yeah, nice to see you again. The suited girl looks up, noting my uniform with a relaxed smile. Know each other? I guess? It's as good as an approximation of a relationship as I can think of. Care to take a seat? It says this to the air beside me, but the message is clear enough and I take a seat beside her. I suppose some introductions might be in order. It's her sister, right? Or a cousin? It's her sister. I remembered. I remembered. It's Akira. I couldn't remember her name. Could not remember her name, but I knew it was a sister or a cousin. I just couldn't remember. This is Akira Satao, my older sister. Oh, that's why she says Satao, because it's last name. Never mind. Akira, this is Hisao Nakai, another Yamaku student. Looks like my guess was correct. The newly introduced Akira gives a nod, which I return. What I don't return, however, is the almost analytic gaze with which she looks me over. As she does so, Yuko walks up to the table and carefully places the coffee on the table before bowing and taking her leave. What up? Gently bringing my hand to the side of the cup, I realize that it's already at just the right temperature to drink. After taking a sip, the flavor turns out to be just as good as temperature. God, I hate it when you make coffee and it's too hot. And then you're like, just fire. Yuko seems a lot better at this than being a librarian. I take a good long drink before relaxing into the seat. It takes mere seconds for Akira's examination to come to an end, apparently becoming quickly bored with the activity. She turns to her sister. So, how's school recently? Sees Akira is entirely unconcerned with someone she doesn't know at all, listening to everything they say. Not that I mind. Leaving them to their chatting, I sit back and continue drinking the pleasantly aromatic coffee. Alright, you know, I think we're gonna end off right here. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. 4 hours into the damn game, and we are still not done with chapter 1 or 2? I think we're on 1 still, but we're 4 hours in. I think there's 5 chapters in total, so we still gonna be here for a while. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Katawa Shoujo. Make sure to leave all your support down below in the comments and then by hitting that like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe as well. You could do that. That'd be awesome. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It's Crazy 42, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Katawa Shoujo.